Okay, in our series here about speaking the helpful truth, I want to kind of give an overview of truth and what is helpful and what does it mean to speak. So about what it means, what is the truth? We don't actually know what is real. We know what we experience as being real, and we construct out of our experience a kind of cognitive map to explain things, but we're not really connected to that which is actually real. I mean, even when you look at how our eyes see, my eyes don't see, my brain sees. My eyes give my brain data, which my brain then organizes into a pattern. And so I see things, and because if I see it, I believe it. If I've seen it, eyewitness testimony, that's understood to be as close to real as possible. That means it's relatively more true than hearsay. About a year and a half ago, I woke up one morning and my left eye was all clouded. I had these little, it was like black muck, something. I could hardly see it all out of my left eye. And it was several days before I could make it to the eye doctor, and it was already starting to get a little bit better. And she told me, you got a floater. And I said, well, what can we do about that? She said, it'll get better. I mean, it'll always be there, but you won't notice it so much. So over the next several weeks, it did get better, and I thought, oh, it's settling down, it's going away. Went back to see her after a month or 6 weeks. She said, well, I think it's better. She said, oh, it's still there. I said, oh, I don't see it. She said, right. Your brain has learned to look around it. Your brain knows that that's not data that it needs to process, and so it excludes it from its processing. So you don't see the floater. You see around it, as it were. And there are times when I can get a little bit of movement. Apparently I've got one in my right eye too. I just didn't notice it. Because our brains are so good at processing information that they construct a cognitive map, a mental map that says this is what is real. That's what brains do. That's what our mind is. Our mind is the organ of consciousness by which we construct an awareness of what is real, or as close to real as we get, by the construction of these paradigms, models, mental maps, something that says this is the way it really is. It's important to remember that what I believe is true is my truth from my perspective as my mind makes meaning out of my life experience. And what's true for me at one point may not be true for me at another point. I may be seeing from a different perspective now than I did then. Just last night, I went back and watched a movie that I saw 50 years ago. And there were parts of it that I actually remembered. I was kind of surprised about that. But I saw it fundamentally differently. At the point at which I saw it, I did not see the overt sexism. I mean, it was painful how sexist the characters were, in such a way that I'm pretty sure that the author of the story, because it turns out it was primarily written by a woman, that was very clear at the time, but I did not have the cognitive tools to actually see that as an aspect of the story. The guy was just an asshole, but I didn't really see it as misogyny. So we learn to see, and we come to see things that have always been there, but they were not available to us because they weren't a part of our cognitive maps. Sometimes we have maps that are very accurate insofar as they do a really good job of describing real. We test the map again. Is this real? Is this the way it really is? What's really going on here? The degree to which a map in fact correlates well with what is real, it has a quality that we call truth. And we have multiple truths, and they interact with each other, and other people have other truths than we do. But we want to use the map that is as accurate as it can be for us. That's what we're looking for here. That's the quality of truth that we're trying to create.